Hello, hello. Anybody there? Awesome. Hello. I'll wave to people. Happy Wednesday, October 5th. Can't forget that day today. I can't, but it's 11 o'clock at night, just about, and we are going to do a little talk video games for anybody who's around tonight. I will start by showing a few of my favorites while we wait for a couple people who are going to be joining us. Here's one of my all-time favorites right here. This is one of those goats that you just cannot find. One of my truly favorite games of all time is Twisted Metal Street Fighter. Twisted Metal 2. No, not Street Fighter 2. Twisted Metal 2. Street Fighter is awesome, but not as awesome as this, I think. It's debatable. It's certainly debatable. I love this game. Very, very hard to find this in 85 plus. Very hard to find it in any kind of gold grade. This was the one that kind of started it all, despite the fact that the long box, Twisted Metal was the first one. This is the one that actually kind of popularized the game, that really had it take off, and for a lot of good reason, because the gameplay was just so badass. Everybody loved Sweet Tooth, the clown car there. I loved, I can't remember his name, the guy with the tires right there in the middle. I'm sure it's Spectre right there. What is his name? What is that? Axel. I was a lot of times Axel or Mr. Slam. All the cars were honestly good for the most part. But everybody always wanted to be Sweet Tooth, so yeah, it is what it is. You always let the guest be Sweet Tooth, I guess. I always liked the pink car too. Was the pink car Thumper? Yeah, Thumper. That was one of my favorites too. Thumper right there. So, anybody like this game? Anyway, pretty cool. Another one of my favorites, Mo, since you're here, I'll do this one. Just one of the cleanest copies of Banjo-Kazooie that anyone's ever seen. Mo, this is for you, buddy. While we wait for a few people. One of these games, I just, it's just very hard to get rid of something like this. It's so awesome. Really one of the harder titles to get to, especially in high grade. So, this is a big boy right here. So, those who just missed it, I was just showing off before one of my favorite games of all time, the Twisted Metal. Hard to find. This is another favorite. This is possibly the highest graded across all the pops. This is the Excite Bike, Black Box Rev A. So not the last, but not the first either. Beautiful, beautiful copy. Really, truly, probably the highest graded copy that will come out. At least I hope. Obviously, definitely one of the highest, if not the highest. So, no, I didn't get VGA, and I thought, are you kidding? I still got like 6 more years before they return my shit. You're silly, man. Silly. I saw you were on vacation. I think you had too much sun. VGA getting stuff back? Come on. What are you talking about? Another, probably my favorite game of all time to collect anyway. Not necessarily for gameplay, but in terms of collection pieces, this was probably one of my favorite pickups of, ever, potentially. I never thought that I would be sitting here staring at this beauty. And surprise, my first guest, is he here? There he is. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, man?
Nice haircut, man.
Yep, looking fresh.
Looking very fresh. Let me turn you up in the. Can you hear me? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you fine. You're coming in loud and clear.
Okay. Unfortunately, this thing doesn't let you use earphones anymore. So it used to be great. It used to work with earphones. They upgraded the software, and somehow it doesn't work anymore. So
makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
At least with my Android, you probably have an iPhone. It probably works perfectly, and I'm
no,
just
I don't fucking use Apple. No shot. No, Sean.
A man after my own heart. Then I love the importance of Apple to our information age, but I don't love the. Yeah, whatever. Let's not talk about Apple.
Yeah, I could talk all day about Apple. I tell you that, but
I was
not
showing
for
off
me.
a few big boys I just had sitting here. This is one of my favorite games of all time as well. The first print of Paperboy. Uh, Known pop right now is 3 on these across all grades. So, and this one is the highest out there. So, knock on wood. I hope it always stays that way. This is one of the most beautiful games I've ever bought. I love the blue box, and it makes me totally geek out and nerdy, and that's why we do this. So.
No, that's huge. I was about to say the pop on that has to be super low because even the white seal sells pretty damn strong. Stronger than I was ready for, I guess. I don't have any connection to Paperboy.
It's also it's a big game.
Yeah, it just is. That's what I
really
learned.
Important game. I'm terrible at it. I got it recently on one of those arcade one-ups. It came as one of 12 games, and I was playing it this weekend, and I couldn't make it past the first level, so.
I'll have to give it a try.
I'm sure you are better than I am.
You set the bar low, so I mean.
Thank you, my friend. I do that to make everybody else feel better.
Yeah, exactly. You lift us up.
Paperboy came out before you were born, Dylan. Decap says.
I'm positive it did. I said,
I'm sure it did.
I probably played it. I know I played it once or twice in my life, but that's it. I have no connection to it. Just before my time.
Great. It's a great game. It's an important game. It's like Excitebike. It made a big difference. It made a big splash. And it's one of the reasons why NES became so popular. If they had only had a few titles like Mario, they would have become big. But it was the breadth of that huge the library that really I think started the craziness that we're in now. Right? I mean, now we get consoles with 500 games, 1,000 games. I mean, thank God. We're 2022. Certain things that are good about it.
100%. I saw that 85 there. You're holding MMX3, I think. That's wild. Yeah. That's nuts.
Yeah, this is my baby. I was saying this is probably one of my favorite pickups of all time because it was when I started collecting. Bucky had one on sale for $3,500. I was like, I'm never going to be able to afford that.
What year would that have been?
I mean, it just shows you the mindset change that's happened along the way, and we've gone up and down and up, but I'm no matter what happens, I'm going to be really happy to have that game in my collection. So,
what year would that have been that you said there when you saw that Bucky had
that this was released?
I know that Bucky had the one, and you were like, "I'll never be able to afford that." How many years ago would that have been?
This would have been 2018, probably 2016 to 2018.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
by the time maybe to 2019, but by the time the January Mario hit, I felt like he had taken it off eBay.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think I sold him a Mega Man X2 in 2013 for 2,000. So these are just games that have always been expensive. They just
So tell me a little bit about your journey. I mean, you're younger than me, and yet you started collecting earlier than me. So obviously you're smarter than me. Tell me more about how much smarter you are than me.
I got into it oh, there's Dan. There he is.
What up?
Hey, Dan.
You guys like my ring?
Yeah. Oh man, that's a big ring, buddy.
Thanks. Won championship.
Greg was just explaining to us all how he's much smarter than me. Please, Greg, go on.
Oh, please. Yeah. I want to hear how he's smarter than me, too, so I'm excited.
I got into it age 16. I had a job in high school really early, and then I just went on a nostalgia kick of getting NES stuff. And
you couldn't have nostalgia at 16.
I don't know. I don't know.
You are an old soul, my friend. You're an old soul.
It hit me early. It hit me super early because I wanted to get an NES again. We had one when I was age 2 to 6 or whatever, and it was man, we don't have it anymore. So I just went down that road.
That's crazy. A 16-year-old having nostalgia. I love that story.
And
so what was your first system then?
For myself, NES.
Okay. And was that bought by? Did you ever buy a system? What was the first system you paid for out of your own money? I'm just curious.
PS2.
PS2. Okay.
Yep. That was the game.
I was, again, I'm older than you, so I was in college when PS2 was out, and we played that shit nonstop. But then I graduated and I had a real job, and PS3 came out, and I was like, no, I didn't play it at all. So
I didn't even buy PS3.
I never played PS. Still never played PS3 in my life.
It's a good console. Just it launched like $700 or whatever. I didn't like. No, I wasn't doing that. No
Great
shot.
games for it, but I don't know it.
Yeah, fair enough. It's fun now going back. Like the library's huge. Like you were just talking about, PS3 library is massive. There's so much shit to explore on that console. There's still so much stuff that like you can explore.
It's too bad there's too much new old stock in PS3 because I think it's a really interesting console to collect for. Except you just can't trust any values.
No, I get fully what you're saying. 100%. Like 100%. The newer you get, the more risky.
I mean, do you
everything becomes.
disagree with me? I don't know. I'm sure there's like Ninja 5.0 titles that are rare, but I don't know what they are.
I can't hear Dan.
Can you hear me? No?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now.
I was
Okay.
going to say, I'm with Pat. Xbox 360 all the way. Like, that was, to me, the system that I was playing besides Nintendo.
Yeah. So. Yeah. We went hard on the 360 route. I bought probably 4 of those due to red ringing. Like, we were all in on 360.
They were sending the bad ones to Canada. So
I still have a red ringer.
Apparently,
I still have one in my original one is still in my house, and it's still red ringing.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally
Call of Duty on the 360 was... I don't play a whole lot of video games when I play. Like, I get really hooked into the few, so...
Do you guys play Xbox X or 3 or anything now? PS5?
I bought
usually
a PS5,
Steam.
but don't play it.
You bought PS5? Yeah. What about you, Dylan? Sorry.
We own a Switch. I usually just play on Steam, though. Like, I play a lot of just, like Halo Infinite right now is what I'm playing.
Are you a speedrunner, by the way?
No.
Okay.
No. I play more competitive. Like, I'm more into fighting games, FPS, MMO. Like, I was into that type of stuff.
I have a lot of respect for the speedrunners. It's not even a concept that makes sense to me, though, because I can barely beat any game whatsoever, let alone the idea of beating it in a certain amount of time. That just seems like torture to me, because I'm like sitting there, I'm like cursing the world as I'm like, playing stuff I've already beat like 20, 30 years ago.
I agree with you.
In fact,
100%.
I was playing Ocarina last night for the first time in 20 years. I don't know.
I'm with the people with the Switch. The Switch is... I end up just playing the old games anyways. I'm playing like Doom 2 and Quake and stuff that I buy on there. But the Switch is like the best system, in my opinion.
No, I've been playing Halo Infinite lately because I got the Xbox X, but I'm not any good at that either. I mean, I'm beyond terrible, so let's not talk about my game skills. But what did you? You probably did a show on this already, Dylan. But like, what's your feelings on the release of the Halo pops?
Oh, on the Halo, I haven't even touched that yet. I need to dig deeper onto it. They're small. For the most part, but I don't know the numbers well enough off the top of my head to give like a good opinion on them right now.
What did they say? It was like 9 different variants, or was it 18 variants? Can someone correct me, please?
Yeah, it was a fuck ton.
It was a lot. I was expecting 4.
Fuck ton.
I was expecting like 4 or 5.
I think the game of the year had 4 or 5 itself. So like,
I was very off. I was very wrong. So.
Yeah, likewise. I didn't know half of them.
Dave, happy birthday!
Oh,
happy
thanks,
birthday.
man. Thank you.
I want to make sure that we, don't forget that part.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you. It was this was very memorable for me because obviously the last 2 years have been in COVID, and so for this one being released, it feels like the first year in 3 years we've been released, and it brought me back to 3 years ago at Comic-Con when it just was. People came by my booth and no one knew what I was doing. And that was cool because I didn't sell anything. That part wasn't cool. But what was cool was I talked to so many people who this was the first time they'd ever seen a graded game, like at all. Like, they didn't even know that they were doing this. And that was the most common comment that came by my booth was like, oh my God, they're grading these now? Oh, that's so cool. Look at that. That's the first Tyson. Oh my, like whatever, like it was a interesting, it was just an interesting experience. And it was great to be there with, some of the people that, helped shape, where we are today, I suppose.
Well,
thank you guys for the birthday wish.
I like that photo to see, you saw Matt McKellen was with you guys, Valerie, Dennis, it'd be a different conversation with everyone now. But it was cool to see that photo you posted.
Yeah, I mean, it was a simpler time when people just loved games and went out to dinner because we all love games. That was where it started and that's where it stopped. And we love to drink. So cheers.
Cheers.
Here's
Am I the only alcoholic here tonight? I hope somebody's drinking at home.
I'll go grab some beers in a minute.
Oh, that's a vodka tonic, right?
Yeah, that's pure
Vodka
strength
tonic?
right there.
I'll be right back.
Vodka on the rocks.
There you go. So Dylan, tell me a little. I was into. Oh, thanks for thank you everybody for the happy birthday wishes. I was really into Dylan's story about his 16-year-old nostalgia. I want to hear more about this.
Yeah.
So what happened next?
The thing was, like, when I was doing it, that would have been circa, I don't know, 2008 when I was starting. It was just so easy to resell shit, even locally. You could just, it's the old thing of, like, buy 7, sell 5, keep 2. And you can do that infinitely for, like, that was gravy, I would say, until, like, 2015-ish, until it finally started getting a headway where it was like, Kate, I'm better off now not wasting my time locally, going to eBay, going deeper into variants, box stuff, sealed stuff, like just upping the level of education to where you're no longer going to the grad sale competing with the lowest level of competition.
Well, the thing was, though, you again were way ahead of me because in 2015, I was collecting. I did not have any concept of variants. Like, to me, a white seal and a round seal, were identical and didn't matter. And you either had Excite Bike or you didn't,
100%.
It wasn't until, honestly, the comic guys got more into it and really pressed that. And honestly, if they hadn't gotten into it, I don't know that anybody would be talking about variants today.
Well,
Not to the same extent.
Nintendo Age was everything. That, I was fortunate to wind up on there in 2011. If I didn't have that education, I wouldn't care either.
Tell me about Nintendo Age, because I actually was not a Nintendo. I was technically a member, but I didn't use it. Like, tell me about your experience with Nintendo Age, because that's fascinating.
No, fucking fantastic. Like, the best hub of information that existed on the internet at the time of people who were, like how you said, right? Like, games was a game. Nintendo Age made it that a game wasn't a game. Like, everything was specific. It wasn't about going to play the game. And that's, what really started to resonate with me more was collecting the games. Not just like I can emulate. Even today, I emulate more than I play physical.
I prefer the emulation through the Switch. If we're talking about the Switch, I love the Switch emulation. I'm going to play Super Punch-Out on that before I break out my Super Nintendo.
100%. The other weekend, I had a game of Mario Party 6. We played on an emulated Wii. I'm not busting out a GameCube in the game. Like, it's inconvenient. 100%. So
no, I don't have anything against playing games or playing the games like the real games, but I'm just saying I'm like you. I like ease of convenience and stuff, and playing an emulator.
It's
stupid.
Easier. And it's like, I don't know. I always think about, like, okay, I want to play Mario Party 6. I can go out and spend $100 to do it. I can go buy one, whatever. But it's like, if I don't want to own it, if owning it isn't the main purpose for having it, then why don't I just emulate it?
Right.
I don't know. Like, that 100 can go to literally anything else.
I 100% agree, and I love that you articulated that mentality, because I think that's another thing that, like, it's a difference that between collectors, and we collect that way, and I don't expect other people to collect that way, but that's how you and I collect, and I 100% agree.
Like, if a gamer wants to go grab it, by all means, like, go grab it. But, like, I don't know, and I just think
now this is to both you guys. Dan, were you ever on Nintendo Age?
No, I like to say I didn't find the Yellow Brick Road. I was collecting during that time, and I was looking for games, and I never knew of Nintendo Age.
You didn't know it existed?
No.
Okay. So I'll tell you, my experience with Nintendo Age was going there to find information about particular games, or sometimes transacting with people who like to transact through there, which really was transacting through PayPal, but logging it in Nintendo Age, which really didn't mean anything. But my experience was I actually used to collect something called Time Walk games. Do you remember Time Walk? And I was looking for information on that, and the only place in the world to find information on Time Walk games was the forums of Nintendo Age. And today I don't have any Time Walk games other than the Mega Mans that I save for my set. But it's a really interesting story about Time Walk that I don't want to get into tonight. But my question for both of you is, given that there was this plethora of information out there, what do you think about the retirement of it?
You can start, Dan.
Well, first, Dan, I did get a link to the past. It's an 8.0B plus, so I do have to upgrade it. But forgot who mentioned the Mango Blue Moon. I will try it. No, the retirement of Nintendo Age is very controversial, of course, and I do miss. It's always crazy because I hear how great Nintendo Age was, and knowing I was looking for games daily on eBay and stuff like that, I'm like feel like a fool because like you hear of all this greatness, and I'm this guy like just look at eBay for price, good prices for many years. So, I didn't realize how long I was looking for games, but I have to go through my emails and like realize like 2011 first graded game bought and looking at the prices. But with Nintendo Age and Jeff Myers and Go Collect, I mean, there's lots of controversy there. It's really sad in the regards of like it just sounds like it was a lot of unfortunate events led to the death of Nintendo Age. That's what we'll call it because it really did die. I mean, it's now Go Collect and it's a skeleton of itself. But hopefully one day, we do have a community here, being that we're all here right now. So I'm glad that the community survived, and I think knowledge is really important. So I hope there's a hub for knowledge again. And I think both you guys do a good job of bringing that to people in your streams, and I think that hopefully that continues and expands.
So, Dan, you just said that all three of us are Nintendo Age, and I love that. I'm going to run with that. Of course, like I'd say we call ourselves Nintendo Age.
I did say that. Yeah. Yeah, we gotta get Captain on here. That's what I know.
No,
we gotta get. I mean, I guess one Canadian at a time. I'm just kidding, but no.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's nice. Like we are the replacement for Nintendo Age because this is what we have now, right?
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, the inner, the thoughts being spoken and people interacting. That's always going to be the most important part of collecting, right? Like the values and stuff, it's going to go up, going to go down, but it's how people interact and share that knowledge and experience that. Sorry, the beer burp, but how that interaction and that share of knowledge is what made Nintendo Age so great. You heard of the campouts and such, and it was important that people shared that experience. And it sounds like, Dylan, what I hear, your interaction with your community is amazing. It sounds like it's really blossoming and it's been in a very positive direction. So it's great to hear that. People are involved with video games and on a constant level because of what you do. So thank you.
No, he's right, Dylan. I second that. You've been a big part of the community outreach, and that's why I'm here as well. But you do it so well, and it's funny because you're such a young guy. Like I said, you had nostalgia at 16 and got into this before I did. So really, just a testament to you. So cheers for that, first of all. And what are your thoughts about the retirement of Nintendo Age?
First, hopefully I can be around for the next 10 years then because of my youthful demeanor here. It was awful, honestly. Like I remember like almost a feeling of strandedness. Nintendo Age was like it was that thing you sign into every fucking day. Like I would just check it throughout the day, you know what I mean? Like I would just pop in there, check the boards, check latest posts. And then it was like one day, like boom, you can't sign in. Like this does not exist anymore.
It was shocking, right?
Sorry?
Shocking. It was shocking that day, right? I was shocked when it went away.
And it was like the loss of information and the loss of ease of finding information that went with that. Like you say, we all exist now on Instagram and Facebook, but all of the information itself is completely disjointed. Like, let's say you're a new person in the hobby. It's like, where do you find a hub to start? It's like, you want to go find, go follow these 100 guys on Facebook. You want to go join those 4 Instagram. Like you want to go, these 5 Facebook groups are good.
Jump on Discord, but don't do this. Yeah.
And even then, you get in there and it's like, okay, how do I find any information? Well, there isn't. You have
So
to ask.
why do you think they retired it?
Oh man, it depends how
Speculation's fine.
conspiratorial you want to go.
We're amateurs, right? Like
This isn't being
speculation.
recorded or people watching. I'm just kidding. No,
I
I
mean,
don't.
I think the information was purchased to be hidden to a degree.
Okay.
I don't know what purpose it served mostly to do that, if it became proprietary to an extent, but it
Maybe
just,
they thought they could trade better on it.
yeah, like it doesn't really make sense to me as to why you just get rid of it, other than information stopping. Like you just,
Right.
you leverage information, right?
You're trying to one up, but you're trying to have more knowledge and be able to, buy
yeah,
and sell better, I
it's
guess. I
information
don't know.
arbitrage. Like
I
they
have
can,
heard
Honestly, I
about
thought
it.
he was going to start a grading company with it. I thought
You
that was the
could.
purpose of it.
But then
You
found out he was
absolutely
partial
could.
owner. Just kidding.
He could,
Um,
but that's the whole point is he hasn't, and nothing's been done with it, which is just perplexing because it's like he could have just left it up and had sponsors and been making money this whole time.
100%.
I've talked to Jeff about this before, and I don't know Jeff well at all, so I'm not going to pretend to. But like, he always knows the traffic meant a lot to Go Collect. It seemed like that was my understanding, and I've tried to get Nintendo Age to be kind of given back at first to the community, and also I've tried to purchase it. Both attempts were failed on my part, but I've tried. I thought it'd be kind of fun, but I think there's a good point of where um, that we'll never know. And, I don't think Jeff's a bad guy. I don't know what
I don't
happened,
think he's a bad guy either.
but also how it sounds like it went by was not good for anyone. And, it's unfortunate, but, the good thing that came out of it is, it really followed up with this exciting journey of the market and being able to see, what happens when a lot of people come into the market and, a lot of fresh eyes on variance and knowledge and stuff like that happens when that's the good thing with prices going up, right? Obviously, we can't all afford the games and stuff like that, but when prices go up, people join in, and a lot of them leave, but a lot of them stay too. And it was really something to see this last 2 years. It's been quite the roller coaster, and it's going to be interesting who stays around and who's here in 5 years, 10 years.
I think the hobby will be much more mature in 5 years, regardless of where you think the market's going to be. I think the hobby is going to be much more mature. My guess, I'll just throw my guess. My guess is that he actually intended to regurgitate the information in a new form, and when he actually started to try to process it, realized it was way harder to do than what he thought, and he should have just stuck it back up. I mean, that's what I would have done. But maybe at that point it was like, well, I already took it down. What am I going to do? Just stick it back up and throw some advertisements? I don't know.
You could have just put a fucking $4.99 paywall. Most people probably would have paid it. Like,
Honestly, yeah. I mean, and who doesn't love a subscription model business? I mean, yeah, he could have charged $10 a year for everybody to join, and people would be paying him $10 because it's only $10, right?
Yeah, I would have paid it 100%.
I wouldn't
Dan would have waited for the Christmas freebie to come out, and then he would have joined. The day after.
1 month that I'd bitch that they're charging money and say it's a scam.
Yeah, for sure. Fight it on your credit card.
So, Dave, your birthday, you buy any games?
I entered into a purchase recently for some toys. So that's kind of this week. That's been my focus is I'm trying to do something similar in toys of what I've done in some other stuff, and I'll kind of leave it at that. But I don't like to spoil it before it's here, but or jinx it for that matter. But I'm loving the toys right now. It's not that I don't love the games, but like I mean I've still got all of my games, but the toys are like dirt cheap, and you can pick them. I picked up like 4 toys for under $100 the other day. It's so crazy. It's like, I mean, even in 2015, you couldn't do that. So with games, I mean, games has always been a more monetarily mature market than certain others, like especially the toy markets. Like games have always been more expensive than toys, probably always will be. iPod Nanos, I love iPod. I love all technology that's sealed from the '90s or before. I mean, I just think it's cool as shit. I'd buy virtually anything that's unopened and some kind of like. I'd buy an 8-track. I'd buy a beta machine. I'd buy a cassette deck. I'd buy I don't know. Do you have anything, Dylan? I know Dan's got some tech. Do you have any tech stuff?
Never went down that rabbit hole yet. I saw your Nano I think it was you who posted the Nano, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I showed my girlfriend it. It's cool as fuck. It's just like nostalgia, right? It's pure it's like, that's the Nano. That thing's dope. That's cool.
I had we put it right in here. You put it right in your front pocket, and you go to class or whatever.
Like unreal, right? That's super cool. I just never went down that rabbit hole. Not to say I won't. Like yourself there, right? You say you love all technology. Like I can collect anything if it has a good story. If it has something that resonates with me, oh man, I'll go down the rabbit hole and start learning.
I started looking for those yellow Walkmans, those yellow Sony Walkmans. I couldn't find the exact one I had though, so the one I had must be rare.
My dad had a yellow Walkman as well. That's funny. That's what I used as well.
Now I'm as old as his dad. Watch out, Dad. We're gonna be his grandparents soon.
Yeah,
literally though.
Bad jokes about that, but I'll stop there. But
Dan, what kind of tech? I know you got some tech. What do you got? What do you got?
You know what? The only tech I have, I had I was buying from a great dude. I bought it was a Game Boy and a Jordan vs. Bird, actually 2 copies, and he had an early Apple computer from like '83. And I bought that, and it's actually going to auction with Golden, I think, this month or October. Yeah, so I'm kind of curious. I have no clue what it's worth. Paid like $1,200. Ended up splitting it with a friend, and it was just kind of fun. It's not something I want to hold on to. It was unused, had the box and everything, but it's unused, but it's open box. But that's pretty much all. I have so much other shit. Like I collect some really dumb shit.
Tell us.
Oh, well, I mean. Shit.
Show us. Don't tell us. Show us.
Yeah, give me 1 sec. I'll bring some stuff over. Give me.
What are your other vices besides games?
There we go. I am in Pokemon. I am in Yu-Gi-Oh. I am in Final Fantasy cards. I am in Japanese games now. I went through anime VHS over the past 2 years. That's about it.
That's a rabbit hole right there.
Yeah, I think that's about it right now. Japanese is a big rabbit hole.
Can you show us some of the other things that you love?
I mean, shit, I don't know.
You have anything? Did you grade any of it?
Not yet, because I absolutely hated how much VHS companies were charging for grading.
Unreal, right?
It was fucked, man. So, I just couldn't justify it. I got charged
$200 a tape by VHS DNA somehow. I don't know how that's possible, but...
It's just not okay. I don't know. I couldn't justify it. I guess if you're just sending it to auction and it's purely a means to an end, then whatever. But
you better be damn sure that you're gonna make more than $300 or something.
Oh no, 100%, 100%. And that's at a time when not many VHS are even selling for $200.
I know it's such a weird. I respect anybody who's doing it and knows their shit, but I don't know my shit, so I don't get it.
Me neither. It's VHS, real VHS, the ones that are, currently selling for big money, I'm not into. I went down Pokemon VHS, Dragon Ball Z VHS, Yu-Gi-Oh! I just bought some shit I like.
I'd rather do Laserdisc or something that only came out for a year and then was scrapped, beta machines. I'm
gonna blow you guys' mind because we were actually the New Year. Rewind will be grading music, so I have CDs. So that's something I've been collecting. Tupac.
What do you got there? What was that first one?
Oh, show me that. No,
Radiohead.
Ooh,
that's cool. No, the one behind it. Show me the Tupac.
Yeah, the Tupac one.
Dude,
oh yeah, the Tupac greatest hits. Changes is on this one, which was for me.
Is that All Eyes on Me?
No, I have All Eyes on Me over there, but I'll grab it. I have Bad Meets Evil with Eminem.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Royce the 5'9".
Weezer Blue Album.
Oh, I'm geeking out again. I'm geeking out, man.
First print Kanye West.
That's fucking incredible.
Yeah, the later print's white. You'll see that all the time. save the day. I'm a huge emo punk guy. What we're going to do is in the beginning of the thing, we're going to launch. I was not planning to say this for like 2 months. We're going to launch music, and we're doing cassettes as well. So,
I
Eminem's
love
first
cassettes
album,
more than CDs, actually. Cassettes are the shit.
Blink-182. I know everyone knows this one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nirvana. Never mind.
Yes. Never
This,
mind.
Dave, I thought about you, and I was gonna wait. I was gonna wait for like 2 months to tell you about this stuff because I know this could have implications on people buying stuff. But to me, I've been loving this stuff. I'm a big music fan. So, Jay-Z, his first one,
That's
Nice.
unreal.
yeah. So
Nice.
the hard thing is like CDs, you have security strips, but the hype stickers are cool. This is the one I was thinking about you.
Yes.
Hard
And
to
you know what? I want to see Warrant Cherry Pie. That reminded me of the Warrant. Oh yes, the
That's
Chronic.
insane.
I've been enjoying this stuff, and I'm not saying, you know what, I have no clue what the values and stuff, but I've been loving going down the rabbit holes and trying to find what's rare. Like CDs, no one knows what's rare. So it's kind of fun to go down these rabbit holes that pretty much no one's done and be like, how hard will it be to find a Kanye West, right?
You're basically shooting in the dark, right?
Oh, fuck yeah, you are. Because that's a little bit different. The hip-hop especially has been popular for a very long time. Um, no, I've been collecting cassettes longer than that. But
Dan, stop trolling, dude.
I know, it's all good. No, it's been about 2 years on cassettes now, and I end up buying a lot of inventory from a closed-down record store for the cassettes, and that's been a lot of fun
Awesome.
to learn about it, and take time. So CDs, though, is like really like no one could overhype these because they shouldn't be worth much because there was a lot out there and people still have their CDs. So this is something I think like in 5 years people will actually give a shit about. But to me, like CDs are dope because like each one of us during Christmas, we got CDs and we have our favorite albums. So like, I remember driving to school, my brother playing Weezer, especially like My Name is Jonas and stuff like that. So I love music. So we're doing that in the first quarter. We have cases already done and, it'll be fun to like, the thing with CDs, we're only doing ones with the title strip because I found it to be irresponsible if there was no other security measures because shrink wrap's so easy to fake. So don't go on eBay and try to buy blank listings because most of those things are you won't find the title strips. So anyway,
So yeah,
you got me to when you said show I could show you about 1,000 cassettes over there. I love the shit out of them. I've been learning them, enjoying them.
Do you have Cherry Pie?
Cherry Pie. I don't know which one that is.
Warrant.
Oh, Warren G or whatever.
It was the Cherry Pie. They had the. It was a white. It looked just like the Biggie one, except it was a girl in roller skates on the front.
Oh, I don't think I have that. I failed you, Dave. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, it's okay. That's like one of the most iconic covers of the '80s to me.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. It's like CDs. I truly like. I can't find CDs worth a lot, so that's the fun thing with collecting. You just collect the ones that are important to you.
Or that you find.
Yeah, and the thing is, the title strips didn't come out till '94. So like, with that being said, like before '94, we're probably not going to grade a whole lot. We might do stuff with hype stickers in time, but when they're just plastic, I don't find it responsible. So it's kind of cool.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah, I do not own that.
She's my Cherry Pie.
Yeah, no,
that was before your time, Dylan.
Yeah, I just know the song. I don't know the cover.
I wasn't allowed to. Well, I was young enough. I wasn't allowed to listen to it when it first came out.
Well, it's funny because when video games got really hot, really expensive, I kind of found myself looking down other rabbit holes, as a lot of people have. You with action figures. I know other people go in different directions. To me, it was music, and it's fun to find these things that are a little bit more affordable, so you can be more patient on your really grails of video games because. Some of those things, like, you eventually find a good deal, but you can't just go and spend $20,000, right? So I always like having a collectible that I can enjoy going down rabbit holes, and having some of these other things have been fun.
It's just scary when that rabbit hole starts because you're like, where does it end?
That happened with me in VHS because, like, I I told everyone, like, I don't know shit yet, so don't throw stuff at me yet. And I finally, like, the last 2 months have been going down these rabbit holes and enjoying the variant hunt. But music I've been going down for the last 2 years, and it's really been something that's enjoyable. I know people that I've done it with have enjoyed it, and everyone has their favorite album. Everyone has their favorite CDs. So I collected vinyl for many years, and vinyl's dope. It's really big, but it's dope. But again, CDs we all grew up with, and we all had our favorite albums. I know, we could probably all sit here and name a band and like talk about it for.
Can I ask you if you have a certain cassette?
Yeah, sure.
I had Bobby Brown, the one with
do
My
not have
Prerogative.
No, I don't have that.
That one was such a. I don't even think it came out on CD. It was so early. That was like 19. I don't even know, 86 or something.
And I know the people below are gonna hate it. I love video games. I will always love video games. I will always collect video games and go down those rabbit holes. But I feel sometimes you got to have your side projects, and video games is always important with me. But I like sometimes you could have your things to go down and enjoy it. And that's where with me, if anyone knows my history, music, I interned at a record label. I had a punk website when I was young, and pretty much my day job is still music. So, to me, it was another outlet to follow passion. And I'm still doing stuff with video games. I mean, I've been getting myself in trouble with NS lately and, shaking the boat a bit. But, find where you can find some passion, and that's like video games. I still find passion in, trying to figure out what happened in the 85 to 87 crazy NES stuff. So
my only problem with video games is being able to afford my passion.
Well, that's where I think sometimes you have to have those other things that you could still get that collecting itch, and like allows you to be patient, because it's sometimes, yeah, it is $5,000 to buy something that has any like decent nostalgia and great condition. So it got to that point. So being able to go and buy something for $12 again,
Yeah.
felt really great, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to get that.
Dylan, are you a Kenny G fan? I see Kenny G or Bust was thrown out there. Is anybody here a Kenny G fan?
I don't even know. I don't know who. Nope.
He made a cameo in some movie like a couple years ago that was really funny, and I don't remember which one it was. Otherwise, I'd name drop it. But he made a cameo in some movie where he was like playing music, I forget. It was like some comedy on Netflix, but
Yeah, no, that one was lost on me.
Kenny G was an old saxophonist, but
I just Googled him just that I could be caught up.
Well, that's the thing.
Kenny G was like the worst, the worst thing you hated to love.
Here's your
and you weren't. Oh shit! All eyes on me.
It's a 2-tape one, so this is
of
one
course.
Of the tapes, but
show the side. Can you see the side?
Are there security seals on these cassettes? What do you got on those?
No, it's straight plastic. But the good thing is how they're sealed is much different. Where we did the research on the machinery. And you can't just like take the plastic off. Like that's the problem with CDs is you can buy a reseal machine relatively easy. So that's why I won't touch authenticating those. But with these, luckily I've been able to identify reseals and throw that back at people and a few times, quite a bit. So
is it still a Y-fold pattern on cassettes?
Yes, it's let's see if I could show it. But it's a little bit
okay.
There's more to it, and there's some stuff I want to say and don't say. Also, if you really want to be safe, go with hype stickers. Usually, faking these prints, they'll get pixelated. The cuts won't be the right shape. But say like something like this, never mind this sticker.
That's so hot.
Oh yeah, I love hype stickers, and even on video.
No, I mean the Nirvana Nevermind. I mean, talk about an album you need to own.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. They have this on CD long box too. I have a water damaged one over there. But the thing is, like, I'm not saying this stuff goes up in value, but you can afford to collect cheap, right? Like you can buy some of this stuff. It's especially CDs for $15, right?
Yeah.
And enjoy it. And my thing is, we have cases that we've designed. They're actually the final mold was done. We've been working on this for 10 months, the CDs and cassettes to actually do it right. So it's not something I just like, hey guys, look, we might do this. But literally, VHS we said we'd do first. I'm very excited about that. But CDs are going to follow within 4 weeks, and then cassettes 4 weeks later probably. So we've been very busy with like trying to get it right. I can't be more excited to again, video games are just done. There's great companies in that space, and that's why we didn't do anything with video games, because WADA and CGC, VGA, I mean, we have our complaints, but they get the job done, and there wasn't much we could really add to, what they do there. Like really, when you think about all the systems they covered, you have competition that will lower prices. And that's great for collectors. I'm hoping we see CIB grading with, to pivot to more video game talk. I'm hoping we see more grading with CIBs with CGC and WADA. I hope we see WADA lower the price. I eventually hope we see Kart grading, where people can enter this hobby at a very cheap level and enjoy grading. Because everyone here knows grading is a lot of fun. It's dopamine hits. It's dopamine hit after dopamine hit. You get your item received, it's in grading, it gets your grade, and then you get it shipped, and then it shows up to your house. You get like 5 huge dopamine hits. So I've always enjoyed grading since the first time I saw it in comic books, like 12 years ago or whatever it was. But that's where I think video games, I hope they go to. And I hope they go to carts, because carts are badass, right? Having a cart in your hand, like literally the NES cart that's cooler than anything else. Holding an NES cart, if you're in a swap meet or garage sale and you see carts, oh man, that's like the coolest. It's cooler than finding boxes. I'll say it's these gray pieces of gold, right? Like that we all enjoy.
100%. Just, I want to touch one more thing there before we move on from cassettes, though, if you're willing to share. So you showed something like the Nirvana cassette there. Yeah. What kind of price point would someone, like say someone wants to get into this, right? You're showing these Tupacs, Nirvanas. What kind of prices are these going to run people?
This is the most expensive of the rock, in my opinion. This one typically pops up on eBay for $80, and I've paid up to like $350 before on it, mattering the condition. So I usually upgrade. Like this one's a really nice copy.
Okay.
But something like that Tupac, I bought this for $60 and it's all cracked right here. So you see right there, that's all messed up. So condition's very important. Cracks are kind of like video games, a lot of cassettes are like $15-20. The thing where people will see in time is cassettes actually started in 1967. So they actually go back really far. Like you can find first prints of some really iconic albums like Dark Side of the Moon and, some of those. Wow. Back then. So again, like all this stuff's going to be graded in time. My thing is just trying to make it that if we can do it cheap and make it so people can enjoy, something cheap and new, it'll be great, and we're already there,
Music is meant to be played.
Hell yeah, Spotify for life. Come on, it's funny because like, it's just another way of collecting. I think video games are very special because of the cardboard and the nostalgia and just video games. I had a friend ask me, why did video games take off when other things didn't? Right? That's a very good question. And I'll ask you guys this after. But, in my mind, it was because when video games stopped, like NES stopped, they didn't have another release of it typically. So, like, if you wanted it, you had to go find that cart. You had to find that game, such. So, video games are kind of special that way. A lot of other stuff, music and movies, you could find later prints and stuff like that. So, in at least different media types. Like video games, it wasn't like every game got re-released on the N64. So
yeah, 100%. Yeah. For the most part, even still, like a lot of shit's just locked to the console. Well, if you're not savvy with emulating, but
I'm not. But I'm happy to talk about music, but I don't want to hijack it. Honestly, I swear to God, I wasn't planning to talk about it, but you got me talking about it. So, like,
one big-ass long advertisement.
Yeah, I'm like, I have like a Rewind T-shirt on. My beer has Rewind on it. Buddy Christ has his, Rewind T-shirt on it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll admit, I haven't really gotten into it, but like seeing that Nevermind album makes me totally geek out.
Yeah, and that's the thing about music. We all have ones that we really attach to. It's, it's something that you could go talk to your parents and they'll have albums that you might relate with them. right? Like that's the thing. Like I could talk to my growing up. I remember my dad listening to more or less 80s rock, right? And we
Yeah.
can talk about that now. Or we went and saw Aerosmith together. I took my dad to see Tom Petty like the week before he died. So there's things that really connect people, and music is probably one of the biggest things ever. And music's always been a big part of my life. So like, there's nothing I'm more proud of than being able to try to push this out the right way, because that's important, because easily it can be fucked up and manipulated, whatever else. Let me be clear. I hope these things stay cheap, because, that way it starts off slow and enjoyable. Like, we haven't talked to auction houses about, hey, let's, I'm not trying to be shit. That's probably bad, but
Coming to Heritage in January 2023.
Did you know Heritage is accepting consignments? Like,
and go to Heritage to go submit your VA. No, sorry,
yeah.
cassettes. But no, I like Heritage and stuff like that. But my goal was actually to launch this really low key, because I wanted it to be people to enjoy it on the ground level, and that's what talking about it here. Like, when you go on the market. Yeah, there's some sales. There's some stuff that goes for $500. I think the most I've seen is like $2,500 on a cassette. But that's still at a level that's like only like a few I've ever heard of selling for more than 1,000. So CDs, I don't know of anything that sells more than $50. I'm sure there is stuff. I just don't know it good enough. So it's cool to see stuff that's like that. It's like the toys you mentioned. Like, it's been down here forever, so you don't have to worry about where you buy in, right? Like, if you buy in up here, you're kind of like, oh shit, action figures. I mean, I have my turtle set. I want to buy an Ecto one. So,
Nice.
What's the holy grail of cassettes?
Name dropping in toys. He's name dropping, guys.
I don't own an Ecto one. I want to buy that case off of eBay, but it's too expensive for me. But
you know what's funny? You know what's funny about toys though is I was talking to somebody about this today. We saw like there's turtles selling for like. Oh, that's sick.
No,
yeah,
I
that's
was going
sick.
to explain the question. Keep going. Turtles.
But there's turtles and toys that are selling graded, like $200 to $400.
Mm.
And if you get a toy that's got a good grade, and like let's say $250, right? Because a lot of them are in this range right now. If you get a toy that's been graded for $250 and got a good grade, you would have paid $120 minimum to get that toy graded in the first place. So you're really only paying $130 for a toy with a guaranteed grade to it. I mean, for me, that's somewhere that we haven't been with games since, honestly, when I first, I started collecting, and I started getting stuff graded, and then I started, selling so I could buy, of course. And before WADA even came out, we had already gotten past that point where games were already expensive, like this, right? Like, it was $3,500, and while that's not a lot of money compared to what it is today, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it was relatively
there's not many toys
expensive.
that sell. There's some toys, but not
it.
many that sell for $3,500.
Yeah, I couldn't buy it. That was expensive as shit.
But that's where action figures are fun. Where like even the Ecto one, I want one. It's like, oh, it's $600. That's too expensive. In video games, you're like $600. You're like, you can't find. Where can you buy high graded toys? Hakes Auctions does a lot of toys. So
have you ever shopped at Hakes? That's a great question.
I've bid. I don't think I've won. I've never sold anything.
Dylan, how about you? Have you shopped at Hakes?
Never.
Because I've been getting their advertisements from VGA, right?
Sorry, go ahead.
You get their advertisements from VGA.
I got it once there. I browsed the auction the one time I got an email, and I was like, okay, and that was it. Like, I just didn't even, you know what I mean? Yeah. I have to go make another account, connect the payment thing. It's just like another fucking auction house. So I was like,
But the funny thing is, we all jumped in to at least look at Golden. We all jumped in to at least look at Certified League.
Yeah,
we all jumped in to look at Comic Connect, but we won't touch Hakes for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, I'm sure if they have offerings, I'll get there.
Well, I'm just saying it's interesting that none of us jumped into it, though.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with Hakes is they're not consistent of what they offer. So sometimes they'll have video games, and sometimes it's, action figures is their, like, toys is their thing. I used to get their catalog all the time, and, it was always interesting. That's the hard thing to get into because it's not consistent. The reason I was mentioning this is called the Note Inmates, and there's usually like a little stamp on the corner that says like this is supposed to be the first print. Now I gotta verify that. It has a stamp on the later ones that say like inmates, including Snoop Dogg and so on. But this is probably the Grail. I know some people say it's called the No Eden Mates Dr. Dre Chronic just because it's an early one. But with that said, Haze. I've never had a bad experience with them. They just don't have a consistent amount of stuff that I'm into.
I agree.
Heritage is great because you get the video game auction, right? You get your specified auctions. But I'm really hoping. Golden was. I do enjoy bidding there because I get shit cheap, but that's not good for sellers. But
it's a terrible place for sellers, though.
Well, the thing is, it's great though as a buyer because then you're going to get more buyers there. But the problem right now I'm seeing with Golden, at least in my opinion, because I got to be careful there, but is
I love Golden auctions.
No, I'll say it. I don't like Golden. I'm happy to come out and be the one who says I'll be the asshole. I hate Golden.
They've had their problems. I've been the first one to say it. The problem I see is how many video games they're going to get in the future. I think it's going to be different what they've had in the past.
I don't think they're going to continue to get games. To be honest with you,
do you mean they're going to get more?
No.
Less?
I'm saying the opposite. About how many they get is going to be less, and the quality they're going to get is less. So, because a lot of sellers got burnt. So, in my opinion,
and they don't care. They don't care that they don't seem to care about anybody.
Yeah, they
I've just never gotten the vibe that they care about games. Like,
I agree. Dylan, great point.
They're on there. They have them, but like
they've made no effort to get their people to show up to buy.
Yeah. They just like the games are there. Hopefully people come to bid on them, and that's that.
But we were kind of guaranteed that like they would come in and get their sport guys to bid, and that hasn't happened at all.
I mean, their strategy was flawed, obviously, and I'm not defending them at all because I personally like Heritage better. That's just what it is. Knowing some of the stuff I know, I mean, they did, make deals and such to get video games there. Now, it didn't feel like from top down that they cared. I agree 1,000% on that. And, is a feeling that I think a lot of us got. Like, does Ken Golden care about video games? I mean, we all have our opinion that I don't feel it, maybe he proves it in time. And you feel it. You don't see him holding video games when he goes on to Fox Business and such. So I think that played out because of such actions. But it is what it is, and Heritage is winning that race. I mean, shit, they're doing, bi-weekly specialty auctions. And
they keep shitting out stuff out of their asshole that like we can't even figure out where it came from because we've been looking for these games for years and suddenly they have them. Like, literally pulling them out of nowhere. Like, I don't get where they get their games from because I've been looking for half the shit forever, and I don't find it.
Well, they have, 3 pedigrees there right now. So, I mean, you look in the next auction, the signature, and it has 3 Donkey Kong 3s, 2 from the Plattsburgh and 1 from the Hawaiian. And it looks like there's a recently new discovery of the Hawaiian collection because DK3 wasn't on that original list as far as I know. So, and Brian Singer's a great guy, and I have that manifest from that first discovery. So, it's, there's just going to be more games discovered. Its value's gone up. Like some of these discoveries, I don't know if they would have been had for another 10 years if we didn't have that, was values go up, people talk, people think and more stuff discovered. There's going to be this few-year period of oversaturation of really good shit, and we don't have enough buyers right now. That's simply that. It's not that the people in it aren't willing to pay, and we see that. Sometimes games go for $30,000.
Everybody's tapped out because we've been buying so much.
Well, it's not even tapped out, but there's just so much shit.
It is for me. It is for me.
I'm out of money.
I'm out of money over here.
There's too much good shit. There's too much good shit coming to market at one time. So
those Mario Karts are a perfect example of what the fuck.
Yeah, what the fuck? Come on.
That's insane. I'm
out of money, and I wish I showed up to buy that because I would have put it on. I would have taken out a loan for it.
Yeah, it's.
It still was that 9.6 was a stupid deal.
Yeah, and then stupid deal. 292s, I believe, right? Or 292s.
I would have bought the 9.4. I would have bought both of the 9.4 and the 9.6.
Wait a second.
I'm really that is the greatest game of all time. Like, I'm going to say it. That's the greatest game of all time. My kids were playing. You know what my best part of my birthday today was? my 4-year-old and my 6-year-old, both boys, sat down and played Mario Kart with me, and were more interested in it than I was.
I
Yeah,
like
that's
Mario Kart
freaking awesome.
8 better, but I agree with you. Mario Kart 64 is the shit, you know. The hard part is, like, it doesn't have that mix of, it's definitely pop culture, but the mix of historic always is going to have a hinder of where, you know, a first Mario has that historic level, right? Because it's always a mix of cultural significance and history, right? So right now, like, all of us have a cultural significance and nostalgia feeling of it. The history of going down the road, you'll see stuff like Mario 1's always kind of beat it out, unfortunately.
But Mario Kart 64 is still like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that I played with them today is Mario Kart 64 remade.
Yeah, no,
It's not
yeah,
Mario
no,
Double Dash. It's not Double Dash. It's not anything. It's Mario Kart 64. That's what they redid it. It's amazing. It's the best game I've ever played. I mean, it's amazing. I love it. I fucking love it.
Tell me what you really feel.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we're dating right now. I'm not really that into it.
2 more drinks, we'll talk. Sure.
Cheers.
No, cheers.
No, honestly, playing games with my kids is all I've ever wanted in life. Like, you know, sitting down and playing with my kids who are that young, like, that's amazing. I had the best time today. It was amazing. Like, and
awesome.
Talk about nostalgia. Like, I'm building nostalgia. They're gonna want the first release of Mario Kart when they're you know, hopefully 16 and have nostalgia kick in.
Well, video games are going to be here long term. I mean, I don't think anyone has ever argued that will there be more people in the hobby 10 years from here than there is now. And I think we'd all agree, you know, the hard thing is the short term, the next year or two. And it's a good opportunity to see if you feel stuff is falling through the cracks to grab it. And, but yeah, no, it's interesting times, right? We're on the second half after that party of the last 2 years.
Oh yeah, the SNES game sucks still. And that was Super Mario Kart. That was not Mario Kart. Super Mario Kart. Mario Kart 64 is the first in its name, technically.
Yeah, the Super Nintendo one, it's just like...
It doesn't count. It doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
It doesn't. It's Super Mario. It's not Mario Kart. It's Super Mario Kart.
I agree. Mario 64 should be worth more just because it's like the game that actually put it on the map. You know, I've argued with people that Super, they're like, which one? That's a good argument to have is, you know, Super versus the N64 version. I like the N64 long term as a better, obviously.
100%. It really was the first of its. It was the first of its name in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And someone said,
I don't know what Decaps is talking about, but dude, stop Decaps.
No, he's talking about someone else that's mentioning Crash Tag.
Oh, I thought he was talking about N64. No, he's saying he wants us to acknowledge SNES, but like as we all said, the SNES version sucked.
Yeah,
it really did. It blew chunks.
I enjoyed it. I owned it, but I get it. Like the N64 version is what we all played with friends and drank, and you know, drank playing. Even years later, one of those games that people bought years later to play with their friends. You know, it really was. It still is that iconic, but it's not like many people bought the Super Nintendo.
Well, we all love the N64 for other reasons. I mean, the fact that it was the first 4-player, native 4-player system. We all played it at late nights with our friend. Dylan, you might have been 3, but you probably played it with those kids in the nursery, right?
N64, that was the first console that was purchased by my parents for me, actually. Every other console was a hand-me-down. N64 was the first one, like, me and my brother got purchased.
Awesome.
I love the Super Nintendo.
What was your first game?
Don't even know.
What was your favorite game? What's your favorite game?
Might have been Ocarina, might have been Banjo. Yeah, like Ocarina, Banjo, Mario Party 1 are like my big N64 games. I didn't own Mario Kart. So Mario Kart 64 for me, it's a good fucking game. Double Dash is better. Kill me. You know what I mean? Sue me. I know.
Son of a bitch.
I know.
Okay, Mario Kart Double Dash or Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for Switch?
I mean, 8's fucking good. 8's really fucking good.
I mean, to me, 8 is 64 with a couple of new levels.
Yeah, but
8 is really good, man. 8's really good.
It's really good.
8 honestly has more people have played it than any other Mario Kart game.
I always use this argument. If you were locked in a room for a year and could only have a console with one game on it, what would it be now? And for me, I'd probably choose Mario Kart because even though I get bored with it, like everything else, I get bored sooner. I beat it and then it'd be done.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's fair.
I don't know.
And Mario Kart 64, you talked about speedrunning really early. Mario Kart 64 is insanely fucking relevant with speedrunning. Insanely relevant. It is the most like pushed game of the Mario Karts. Yeah, very, very, very competitive. So it lives on in that as well.
Yeah,
I get it.
I want to show you
one game, Breath of the Wild. I mean, you know what? It would take me a year to beat that, so I choose that one too because it would take me literally a year to beat that game.
Because I'd never beat it.
Oh, that game was so great. That was probably the most fun I've had in a video game.
Turtles in Time. But Turtles in Time, you can beat Turtles in Time, so that's only going to last a month.
Breath of the Wild was just like the biggest refreshment of a video game, getting the Switch specifically for that game. It's just being able to really just feel like you're lost in the game was I loved wasting time.
I literally got lost in the game, Dan, though. I spent 5 hours with it, and all I did was walk around with a stick and fell off a couple of cliffs.
Well, that's because you suck at video games, but we've talked
about
it.
I do suck at video games. I am the worst.
Well, I'm looking forward to the second one. I think they showed a trailer of the second Breath of the Wild, which is awesome. Even times that video games kind of were seasons of life and I wasn't playing as much, I bought a Nintendo to play the next Zelda game. So I absolutely love Zelda. It's been a staple for me throughout my whole life. I mean, I had a pocket watch that had Link on it as a kid, that probably was like made out of, the cheapest stuff ever, but it was from Nintendo, so it's legit.
This is one of my favorite games of all time. It's not Zelda, but it's a game I can play anywhere at any time. Super Punch-Out. Better than even Mike Tyson's Punch-Out with Super Punch-Out. And this shit, like, what is it, like King Hippo or whatever? There he is. A bear hugger.
Yeah.
That's, for me, but I like, this is like Mario Kart 64. Like, I could just play it all day long. It's like, it never gets old, but like, again, in a month you beat it, and then you'd be like, well, what am I going to do for the next 11 months? So,
is that a Japan, Mexico, or Majesco?
This is a Japan. So,
good.
I think
that's the 17th print.
The 17th?
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
I hope not.
No,
I don't know too much about the 3-line warranty. I thought was the first one. I thought they went to 4 afterwards, but I don't know this stuff that well, to be honest with you. Decaps can probably fill us in. Decaps, tell us the answer.
Yeah, he'd probably know out of anyone here.
Ringing in Kaplan.
Kaplan, you there?
I don't know how many have 4.
You're so mean, dude. Why do you have to be so mean? It's my birthday. Gosh. I gotta drink
Dan.
more. You're driving me to drink, Dan. You did this to me.
ESRB is last print, nice.
I'm talking about Kaplan, but...
No, I got it. I was talking about the bottom. He mentioned ESRB is last print. Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, no, he's just being a troll. My favorite troll.
No, but that's the thing, is finding those games that like you play throughout your life, right? Like that to me is Zelda. Zelda's always the thing. Mario Kart 8 has been. It's funny that it was released on the Wii U. It was so good. They're like, hey, we got to release it on the Switch because that's probably the best
we're at like 8 years of Mario Kart 8 or some shit. Like, it's insane.
And they're still releasing fucking, different tracks.
Yeah.
They honestly never need to remake it except to add new levels.
No, like, honestly,
and new characters, maybe.
Yeah.
Unless they get a whole new engine or some shit, they don't need to.
It's perfect. It's like literally perfect. It's a perfect game.
Yeah.
I want to get one of those wheel setups where I can like sit there and drive, like actually drive the car.
Yes. Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, my son gets so excited when he gets to be the bullet, the rocket.
Yeah.
He gets the rocket ship, and I got this 4-year-old. He's like, "Daddy, I got the rocket," and the rocket's he's ending in like 8th place. I'm like, dude, out of like 12, of course, and I'm like, dude, you're 4 years old and getting 8th place. That's amazing. Like, he's gonna be better than me by like next year.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
tell the
Yeah.
truth. You end in ninth place already. You just don't want to admit it yet.
No, I put it on 50cc, so I'm still coming in
Okay.
first for now. But like, let's up it to 200, and we'll see whether I maintain that.
Nice, nice. Yeah, no, it's great. That's why I mean I love video games. I love playing with my kids. Like we they know 4 o'clock we'll play video games, and they hold me to it a lot of times. So they love playing Mario. What's it? The 3D World. What's that one called? The one with the Bowser Fury. Um,
Yeah, 3D World and Bowser
yeah,
Fury.
they absolutely love it. They won't play Mario Kart as much, but they just play both of those over and over, and it's really great to be able to connect with your kids and find games that they like. Like if they played what I like, would be playing Doom 2 all day. But they love we play Pikmin 3. If you have a kid and you want to play video games with them, Pikmin 3 Deluxe is a great game. I think that I personally enjoyed with my eldest when she was 3 years old. She was really good at it, and that one you could actually like go off and do your own shit, and then they could just
Is that Switch?
yeah, I'd switch Pikmin 3
Okay.
Deluxe. I might, you know what? Let's see what it costs. I'll buy you one for your birthday.
It's
Be my
it's
birthday
like they're
gift to you.
giving away. There's a lot of games that right now you can actually get sealed, and it's honestly you might as well just open it. They're so cheap, right?
Well, here's my question. Do you guys know what this is from?
Is that from the Big Lebowski?
Close. His name's
Yeah, I don't
Buddy
know.
Christ. Oh, come on. Someone say it below. Where is this character from? And yes, it's Jesus Christ, but some people might get mad that I
The
have
movie
this character.
Saved?
Close. It's very close.
Dogma.
Thank you. Dogma, in the beginning, they were joking about revamping Jesus Christ, and this one's called Buddy Christ.
Oh, that was a good movie. I haven't seen that in 20 years.
So I just love, again, I grew up Catholic, so I like the idea of Buddy Christ. So that's why you see me messing around with it. It used to be on my dashboard of my truck. So
I love that you were getting him drunk earlier. That's even better.
he's hammered. Don't worry.
Yeah.
He's like my alter ego. But yeah, I got it in LA at they had Jay had his store out there. It was called Jay's Stash or something. It was a comic book store, and it closed down many years ago. So
Sweet.
but, yeah. So let's ask Dylan, what do you want to talk about? It's important.
Whatever you guys want to. I'm just here to hang. Hit me with the topic.
I figured I wanted direction at one point, and Dave wanted direction at one point, so I figured we'd let Dylan pick the next direction. We're playing wheel.
Yeah, I mean, we can rant. Dan and I can rant all day. Dylan, you gotta. Are you starting a grading company or
Have I convinced you guys to buy JP Games yet, or do I need to keep talking about them for a few months?
I mean, we love to hear about it more. I mean, people keep trying to get me to buy the Japan versions, and it's like everything else. I don't understand it, so I can't really I don't understand Pokemon. Like Pokemon was slightly after my time,
Okay.
and I know for your generation, Pokemon was the bee's knees, but I don't know it, so I can't buy it.
Yeah, that's 100% fair. 100% fair. Yeah, Pokemon.
Well, I always
everything.
tell people the same. Like, if you don't know it, don't buy it. I don't care how much you want to speculate on it. If you don't know it, you shouldn't be speculating in it.
I could not agree more. I could not. That's why I said with VHS, I didn't go down the roads of buying real movies because I don't know them and I really don't give a shit. So why should I speculate there?
Everybody's differentiating between prints, but as a collector, for me in VHS, I don't really care. I mean, not to the tone of hundreds of dollars. I would pay a marginal difference between a first print and a 10th print of Back to the Future. But if Back to the Future is a minty Back to the Future, I'm happy, right?
Well, yeah,
I don't know. That's just my standpoint, but
if I'm gonna collect and speculate at the same time, I genuinely want to enjoy what I'm doing. So it's if it just doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate.
I agree.
What Dan was saying with music and shit that to me seems obvious, to be completely honest. It's incredible it's taken this long for maybe it won't ever become anything, like Dan said. Maybe it will become nothing. Prices will
I think
move.
the populations are the problem, though.
It
Because
very well
he
could
said, everybody say, like, I've got music. I got a whole. I mean, these are all open, but I got, I got all my
You're
CDs
that
from growing
person
up
that's like,
right
oh, I have
behind me.
valuable stuff, but it's open. I'm just kidding.
What?
You're that person that's like, I have all these great video games, and then they're open. You're
Yeah.
like, they're not worth shit.
I have my childhood
Well, that's the
Pokemon
same thing with
cards, and they're
these.
all
Like,
scratched to
they're
shit.
not great because they're open.
Yeah, well, first I do want to show up my one. I did get my Blitz back this week, so I do still buy video games.
Ooh.
It does happen.
Oh, wow. What's the grade?
858 plus. So
Oh, nice. That went for a lot of money recently.
yeah, I got lucky. I paid like $500 for it. So I was really
That
close.
an 858 plus, I feel like went for like $2,000 recently.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
I don't know if it was
But,
eBay or Heritage, but it was one of them. They it sold way above what I thought it would do. So good for it. I think it was Heritage. It was Heritage.
Dookie, this album.
Oh, basket case.
The earlier prints there's an Ernie in the background, and later prints they took him away because they're afraid of being sued. So
No way.
This is a direct for BMG Direct, which is one of those like one penny clubs. So no one knows anything right now on that whole thing of CDs and cassettes of like, will that stuff only be worth a fourth of what a retail copy goes for? But I've been enjoying stuff like this that I grew up with Dookie. So I grew up with punk kind of stuff. So Green Day was very important to me.
My mother
I
told
just
me to
grabbed
get
him
a job, but
random
she don't like the one I got. Masturbation's lots of thrill. You're fucking crazy.
Social Distortion. This album meant a lot. We listened to it over and over in my friend's garage. Meant a lot to me. It's a live album. And then if you're a Rancid fan, Operation Ivy. This was the first album. The band broke up after right after the album. Two of the guys went and created Rancid. This means a lot to me. This album. So.
Now, what about musical instruments, though, Bud? Are you doing anything with that? Like, I would love to collect like guitars from famous musicians and stuff. And
there's a collector in video games that does guitars, and he sells really high end guitars. I don't know anything about it. I deal with stuff that I collect what I love, and I was like you guys with VHS is like, while we're doing VHS, and I've come to respect it. When it was brought to me, I'm like, it's cool. I just don't have the bandwidth to find the passion in it. So I didn't collect it. Like, I don't have some big collection of VHS. That wasn't my thing. So I've come to enjoy the variants, the early prints and stuff like that since. But music's where I put a lot
Kenny
of
G. Sex is the Grail.
Yep.
Did you ever see Californication, the show?
Of course.
Did you see that, Dylan?
Nope.
It was with David Duchovny. There's a scene in there that will always live forever in my mind because he gets gifted a guitar from the Kurt Cobain's guitar, and instead of like encapsulating it or putting it on his wall or like putting a display about it, he just gives it to his daughter. And I'm like, that's a priceless heirloom from some guy who doesn't exist anymore. I saw like the collector in me is like, don't play it, but I guess guitar players want to play it, right?
I have a hard time. My thing is, I love the idea of like musician use music, like guitars and stuff. And I love music. I'm a music fan. But like my hard thing is like, did it get played there? Where's the proof? Like it's just gets tough, right? And I'm very much of like I love Bob Dylan. He's my favorite artist of all time. But like someone says this is a Dylan guitar, it's like it has someone's signature that says, yeah, it's probably that guitar, but it's like, how the fuck do I know? Like, you know what I mean? So it's hard to have like that feeling towards it, to be like, hey, this is so-and-so's guitar, unless you get it from like literally the person themselves wanting to get off the stage. It's kind of I've always had a hard time with that because I've always wanted to buy memorabilia from artists. Like for many years, I'm talking about 10, 15 years. I have concert tickets that, that's the funny thing about the ticket stuff. Like I had concert tickets from Dylan 10
Send
years
them
ago.
to Eric.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I laughed when they started doing that stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, But to me, it was like nothing really hits as much as when I know something's like, hey, that's legit. Like that's the copy I had. So that's where I have enjoyed the media sense of things because it's hard to really get into something you're like, oh, you're 99% sure that's legit, but then you're like, well, maybe it's not, right? So. And I've been disappointed in the past on stuff. So, yeah, You know, and that's the hard thing. Like I used to go to concerts and grab drumsticks off the stage and stuff because I was doing photography and stuff. And I'm like, is anyone gonna believe that this drumstick's from this guitar? I mean, this drummer. You know, so
You'd have to get it authenticated on site, right? It's like impossible.
yeah. I mean, there's ways
Or
to do it.
signed, yeah. Like just signed shit,
Or
basically.
DNA
Yeah,
analysis, maybe. That's a little creepy, but sure.
well, that's the thing is, and that's where I don't collect signatures for the most part, unless I know exactly where it came from at a time. So you know, and that's we all have different ways we like to collect. You know, some people might be completely fine with a guitar that someone said that was Kurt Cobain's. You know, and I think that'd be like the coolest fucking thing in the world. Kurt Cobain's guitar from say, you know, a concert or when he did the MTV Unplugged, right? Like
Didn't
that's
his
very sad.
girlfriend sell that or something similar to that recently?
Yeah, something like that. I heard about it somewhere. Like
Yeah.
I love that. That's probably the best acoustic set of all time. But will we offer DNA services? Yeah, probably paternity test, me and your mom. But sorry, just
He's
kidding.
like, we can't verify it unless there's semen on it.
No, no, no. But I kid, I kid. But no, I
I
mean,
know.
we have our goals in the first year, and you know, really, it's been a mission of a lifetime too. I give the Water Crew all the respect in the world for launching what they did blindly to create the case that they did with the blister and everything else. It's the biggest headache of my life. And you know, I have role models that I get to follow that did shit better early on. So like
They spent a
what
fortune.
they spent a fortune, they took their time. I think we all take it for granted, right? Like you know, we could submit something to get graded, we get it back, and like it's fucking like you don't even have to think that it's like encapsulated safely. It looks beautiful, whatever. You're just like, oh, 8.5. I wish I got a 9. Right? Like you know, like for you don't even have to fucking think about it. So like I always kind of think about that. Like I've seen this beautiful like floating piece. And you know it's just those guys did a lot of hard work and put a lot of time in it. And
Well, some news actually in that front is they are coming out with a new case type.
I know I hope they don't go away from 3D banner. I think that would be very sad because I think this is a piece of art in itself. Really, like making a case myself, what they did is like there's a lot of work, even manually putting this all together. That you know is really something special that I think we've all come to enjoy. Like you grab this, this feels special,
It's a
right?
sturdy case. It's a sturdy case, but at the same time, I hate it when people like insinuate that they're essentially buying the case and the grade as opposed to the game. Like you're always buying the game. You're not buying the grade or the case.
No, 100%. But this gets people in. This
Yeah, no, I agree.
feeling this, the sturdiness. You know,
It's far easier to see the effects of a shit case, though, when no one wants it, I think. Like, you
yeah,
see the opposite quicker than,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
yeah.
I mean, listen, I love the look of VGA cases. I don't think they're the most secure with these bars that they put to keep the games in, and quite frankly, their attitude's terrible. So, it doesn't even matter. Like, at some point, and I had this conversation with somebody today, and I said, I really like WADA, right? Like, they've screwed me over at times. I'm really upset about the prototypes, but they care, and it shows. And so the thing is, like, if VGA showed any effort on their part to, like, make any of the situations right that they're doing, it would go a long way, but they don't. And WADA messes up time and time again. They've messed up a lot, right? There's no disputing that they've messed up. There's a lot of things that we don't like about them, but they try. They try to improve it. They do improve certain things, and we are moving forward. It's not going to be perfect. They're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I mean, but they are trying, and I appreciate any company that at least puts in a little effort. Like, they're going to hear me out about their, like, prototype shit, and, like, I don't think they're even going to do prototypes anymore.
Well, and it's
But they're
just
still going to
even
listen to
the
my
biggest
complaints.
thing. The biggest thing is you have someone to talk to. Someone
Yeah.
fucking exists to hear you. That's my
And
biggest
Dennis
issue with
cares about
VGA.
all of it. Dennis
Like-
cares about all of it. Whether you love or hate him, he cares about all of it.
Yeah, like, there's just people to talk to. You can like talk to Andrew if you want. Like, these people exist. They
Yeah.
exist. That's my biggest issue with VGA now. Is it's just like, I don't know.
It's just Chad.
Well, everything's fucking delayed. There's no one to speak to. You get like your template emails back. It's just what is going on with the company right now? And they're
You
overpriced
can't
as
even get
fuck.
ETAs right now. If you email them, they don't email you back, and when they do, they act like you're inconveniencing them.
No, that's what I mean. Like, there's just nothing going on there. It's like, why?
Nothing.
I just don't see any reason right now. And I love VGA. I see no reason to submit with them right now.
I love their cases. They are the best acrylic maker, including Wada. They are the best acrylic maker in the world.
Well, Wada's case is probably carbonate and a little acrylic, but no, I get what you mean, and I agree with VGA. I mean, the hard thing is they've been who they've been for 20 years, right? They haven't. It's funny, they haven't like drastically changed the last year. It's just their communication is pretty much what I've kind of always felt it's been, and I feel like they're gonna, like we talked about, they're gonna outlive us all.
But you know what's funny about BGA, and you know what I heard, because on the tail end of the Mad Dog, Carl video, I heard a couple comments like Wada came in and did this thing where there was like collusion and all this kind of crap, and they were grading and selling their own stuff. Well, and VGA didn't do that. That's entirely false. VGA 100%, AFA, it's documented in public record. You can go and Google this. It's out there. AFA was founded by a guy who owned a toy store, was grading his own stuff and selling it. So don't come and say that Wada's the first person to do this. Everybody who's ever gotten into the grading business has done this.
Hey,
not Rewind.
Didn't
Rewind
Dan
is
just
legit.
show us cassettes and CDs and then say he's making a company?
Yeah.
Just run this back for a second.
No, and that's
But I mean, everybody, because they're passionate about their own industry, and they should be. They should be. But everybody's done it.
Well, here's the thing. I know you guys know Carl, and Carl's I approached him the other week, and I asked him. I go, Carl, I'm starting Rewind, and he knows about it. I go, I want to ask for what you think. What would be the biggest thing to avoid, and stuff like that. And he told me, he's like, hey, he's like, the owners getting stuff graded. I go, the hard thing is, the reason I'm starting this company is because I'm passionate and want to see this done. Like, it's not that I want to sell this stuff. Quite the opposite. Like, I want there to be a market so I can buy some shit I haven't been able to find. So that's the tough thing. And like, we're putting rules into place. Like, hey, no one could grade their own shit. Like, I can't grade my own game, right? Or cassette or CD. And so can't the employee. The employees.
I'll grade them for you, Dan.
What's up? Yeah,
I'll grade them for you.
Swing by, and that's the thing. Like, I've been so fortunate to learn from everyone else. Learn from WADA, what they've done, their trials, from VGA, and I'm a student of a grading company. I fucking love all the grading companies. Like, really, like, I love grading. I love just the whole process. So like, to add to that, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I love seeing that. It's funny because I love putting out knowledge, as you guys seen with what we do with Minus Worlds, and that's just the start of it. Now that we have, like, right now we have 3 full-time employees, 40 hours a week, not myself, that are working on knowledge and working on how to do things right. So it'll be fun to see, them, once we get stuff really kicked off, being able to put out knowledge and work for collectibles every day and just do shit right. Someone calls, we pick up the fucking phone, right? Like, it's not very complicated, right? I'll stand there and talk to him, like, okay, let's, like, literally, I think one of the lines I told him was like, be a human, don't be a dick. So, that's the thing, is like, we get a chance to do things. Like, I've been one to complain about stuff, but we've been given an opportunity to do things how we believe that should be done. It's not very complicated. It's just, use logic, be a good person, and it's pretty easy. And to go back to the jokes, and Joe's was being completely nice, and I understand the thing of not wanting owners to have anything, but that's the hard thing. It's like, you're asking people who enjoy the hobby the most to not participate in any fact of it. And like, not buying or selling the first few years is fine. I do think stuff has to be done. There has to be walls up to avoid conflicts. You can't buy.
They're called Chinese walls in finance.
Yeah. So, again, I say this out loud because I hope you guys keep us in check at all times, right? Like, that's so, important that you listen to people. I like to say that one perspective is great, but a lot of perspectives are a lot better, you know. And I always tell people when we're asking opinions, like, be honest, because I go, I'm gonna take it, you know. I could take. I'm a big boy, you know. So be
Well,
honest.
if you didn't come to play, don't wear your big boy pants and don't play in the majors, right?
Oh,
You
I'm
can go
scared
back to the
shitless,
minors.
man. I'm scared shitless. You know, Carl's already promised a video. I'm just kidding. He's promised at least 2 videos, a follow up,
Dude,
and
just don't grade your own stuff and sell it. You might be okay.
no, it's fun. All this journey is fun. The collecting journey. I mean, that's why, you know, I'm very fortunate in my life to be given this opportunity to try to do something like this, and we're all very lucky to be in these positions to play in these markets, to be enjoying our hobbies, our passions. So it's really something. And like, I know what you guys have done. Like, you guys get to follow your passion, to spend time to make content like that. Really fucking badass.
We're just nerds. I'm not speaking for Dylan. Dylan's a cool guy. I'm a nerd. I'm an uber nerd. So, you know, I'm just geeky and I can't help it. I mean, I just ask people to give me a pass because the truth of the matter is that, you know, I can't help it. You know, I'm just I see stuff like this. This is going back in the safe tonight, and I'm like, holy crap, that's a perfect eBay. And I geek out and I have to show people, and it's like people don't always want to see, but you know what, I have to do me, right?
The Dave Robbins
100%.
vault.
Yeah.
So.
The Dave Robbins vaults you could submit for 2% a year.
Yeah, well, you know, unlike that vault, I get to take them out and actually hold them. I don't understand the PWCC vault. I get why it's just, but then it just becomes pure investment and like, why, you know?
As an international person, the PWCC vault's fucking huge. Just is.
Yeah. Oh, because okay, I got you. Okay.
Yep. It
All right. Good.
like,
Thank you for that perspective, Dylan.
yeah. It sucks. I can't handle any of my goods, right? I have like 100 and some items sitting in the vault, but it's like
Wow.
a lot of people don't ship shit to me. First and foremost, they just won't ship it to Canada. And then second, if I ship to the vault, I don't pay tax. And then third, it's cheaper if they even do ship to me to avoid the initial customs charge and just go to the vault. Then
so
later,
you can after you ship to them, you can request your game back.
yep.
Okay.
Now, I'll pay a little bit of fulfillment fee and shit, but if I cycle it enough, I can get it to Canada for cheaper.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, that's good to know because I didn't know that.
yeah, that's where it matters for me anyway.
Do you
as an international customer.
do you use shipping services too?
I use people. I have a guy from Nintendo Age, funny enough, that helps me out with middlemaning.
And now we've come full circle.
Yep. Talk about how great Nintendo Age is. Met the guy I've been working with for the past like probably 6 years now, 6 to 8 years. Quite crazy.
I could do this all night, guys, but I know Dan saying he's tired. I don't know if you guys are you want to wrap up. I think we could definitely do this again. I'm having a great time.
Absolutely, man. Dan, do you have I mean, maybe I'm jumping way too far in the future. Do you have a date for when we're going to get to see these cases? Do you know when you're going to launch? What? Like, you've teased me all night here. I feel blue-balled.
I know. The great thing, honestly, is so I could just be as honest as I can about dates and stuff. So we have 2 encapsulation makers, and our CDs and cassettes just finished the mold, which is a big step. We get samples in the next few days. We get the samples for our blisters for the CDs and cassettes within 2 weeks. So we should be able to show something off within the next 4 to 6 weeks. That's really everything with the CDs and cassettes is done out of Southern California. So it's going to be quick and fast. The problem with VHS was I wasn't experienced yet, so we had some stuff being made in China and for VHS, and that just hopefully within 8 weeks. You know, we've been on that track for 18 months, but hopefully within the next 3 or 4 weeks for the VHS side, we'll have full not prototypes, actual samples. Like the molds are done, so like the actual product you'll see is the exact product. We just have to get the bulk of it overseas. But hopefully in the next, before the end of the year, definitely you guys are going to have dates and everything. My goal is 100% January, we're launching the first product, which would be VHS, because we said we would. And CDs will follow first because they're going to be because of the title strips, we can do this responsibly. Anything 94 after has title strips for the most part. Cassettes are probably going to be 4 or 6 weeks later after that. We just want to make sure to run some tests that we can be responsible on, authenticating. Like, I have a good sense on it. But we do want to. I've taken like plastic slabs and shit, and like try to like analyze shit different ways to make sure that the different possibilities of how to authenticate. So, long answer, long soon. So,
TM.
but
Can't wait.
when I say soon, like the CDs and cassettes, like I actually will have. For sure, within a month, I will be able to show you guys something.
Awesome.
VHS
Yeah,
is
that's
pretty
huge.
much the
That's
same.
huge.
So, I mean, that's been the beauty of all this is like, I love fucking working on products where I don't promise something and then wait a year. VHS was different. We kind of had to go out there. But with CDs, cassettes, we've been working on for like fucking 10 months. So, like, I'm so happy, like, to keep it under wraps. So, literally right now, because when you ask me about what I'm collecting, like, why? I don't know. I don't want to lie. Like, so you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I have these things right here that, I just
Honestly, I do the same. We telegraph what we're buying, but like we do it for the good of the community and because it's more fun when we tell people,
Oh
right?
yeah, it's gonna be hard as hell for me to get like cassettes are like don't overpay like stuff like this. This is a rare one. They do pop up
That's
for
awesome.
$80. Like this is Guns N' Roses Appetite for
Live and
Destruction.
let die.
So don't go and you see one of these for like $800. Like it's not, in my opinion. Like I've been able to pick these up for $60 to $80 for Appetite for Destruction.
That's a sick album, man. I mean, such a sick album.
Yeah, so like now, don't get me wrong. Something like the first JC, yeah, I had to pay up for this. There's not a whole lot of these, and the way you can tell. Let me get this. I can't get the sticker off. There's 2 dots above the A on here, and there's a first print to this. But don't pay up. Don't. Hopefully, you can enjoy it cheap. That's the goal, right? Like that's the goal for all of us to enjoy the hobbies. Is not that it's some money scheme to like how to siphon money out of people's pockets, but actually enjoy that knowledge and like the hobby in total. So like when you look at CDs, don't look at it for speculation because I'm happy that I don't think it will take off for years to come. Look at what you bought as a kid, like what you got for Christmas, and look for a CD for 10 or $15, and if you decide to go that path, and make a collection that represents you, not what you think other people want. Because there's a lot. We've all fallen victim, not victim, but we all do it. We all speculate, but enjoy it. Like CDs are cheap. Music's made to be played. Just kidding, but. Yeah, rant over.
Well, let's recap real quick before we end here. If you have interest in collecting music, go talk to Dan Allegra, Dan64 on Instagram. If you have interest in Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, anime, what was the other one?
Japanese video games right now.
Japanese video games. Go talk to Dylan. Get the Greg games. And if you are interested in TMNT toys or Masters of the Universe, those are the only 2 that I really deal with. But come talk to me, and you can talk to all of us about video games. So,
no Ghostbusters?
What's that?
No Ghostbusters, or
that's another rabbit hole. So no, Darkwood Duck would probably be my next rabbit hole because this guy, this group guy and his I think he hired somebody. Basically, calls himself Action Figures Galore. He's got Ecto One. He's got your Ecto One. He's got I've been buying turtles from him, but he's got all these. He's got Batman, which is really cool. Batman from when I grew up, like Michael Keaton Batman toys were the freaking shit, and I don't have any of them, but I'm really tempted. And then Mask, I'm really tempted. Transformers are out of my league already. G.I. Joe's out of my league already. Star Wars is out of my league already. But
Transformers been big for a long time. Star Wars is, the toy that kicked it off all, right? So.
Oh yeah, but Turtles have been more fun than anything, honestly.
But it's funny how Star Wars toys are probably still more affordable than video games. So
yeah,
that's something I collected. Not to go down that thing, but I remember the other day that I had a collectible book on action figures for Star Wars figures when I was a kid, and so the piece of knowledge people put out is pretty dope. It's great that what you guys are doing with knowledge, it does matter, right? Like people being able to tune in and enjoy the hobby is what keeps people in it and spreads
We're
it.
giving
So
people
thank
a
you
source. I mean, Dylan does this every day, right? You give people a source, and I'm trying to keep up. But he just, like I
Holy
said, he's
fuck, you do it
smarter and
every day?
better than I am. So I do what I can, but like he's making the real contribution. So thank you, Dylan. It's every time I watch your stream, it's just super insightful. So
I try. It's the biggest thing. If this hobby, like the hobby, will live and die by information. That's it. Like,
yeah,
no one's going to give a shit if there's no
cheers.
information or a way to
Yeah,
give a shit. So
Dave, you have to
that's
finish
how
well
that
I
beer
see it.
said.
before it's over. You have to finish that beer because I finished 3 and I ran out of
This
beer
is my
right away.
third one.
Okay, yeah. I was like, if you're on the same beer, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm just kidding. No, you're 100% right, Dylan.
I've been refilling while you've been talking, Dan.
No, I got to get a fridge in here, but
I
no,
was
and
I
that's
was so excited to hear about this music. I was geeking out and just downing them while you were going at it. So
oh yeah, no, it's so true about the knowledge and information. It really, if people can't be comfortable with what they're purchasing, they won't
Exactly,
purchase it.
exactly. You have to
Just
have confidence in information that you're not getting fucking ripped off or buying the wrong thing, or like you're getting what you think you're paying for.
I mean, I
there's
told
some.
people on the last stream I just got a resealed Excite bike. I barely got I haven't gotten the money back on it yet. They agreed to take it back, eBay, but this was like 5 months out. It took to actually get graded, and it came back a resale. So even in my own market, my quote unquote
Yeah,
own market,
yeah.
it perfect H seam,
Well,
Fuck me.
perfect H seam.
lesson to be
That
learned.
holds everything.
Lesson to be learned. Don't be cheap. Warp zone. Just kidding.
Absolutely. Actually, that is the lesson here is when you spend more than $1,000, warp zone it, because
It's
I almost
100%.
lost my ass on it. So
No, and that you know what it's that learning thing of like if people have confidence, they feel like they're in the inner circle. They're gonna they're gonna go out and share information themselves. And some of these
yeah,
hobbies they have like a little bit of gatekeeping of the knowledge. And video games actually is not that way a lot. I've been fortunate when I came in like at a more serious level that people shared it, but it's not there's not a hub. So what you guys do is important and keep on doing and keep on expanding it. And I love seeing that. It's funny on YouTube. I almost called you Greg, Dylan. That you're like one of the things pop up in my thing is about one of your seal things. I'm like, yes, that's what I love seeing, because it's just even when all of us entered, like we're like an age team is so fucking hard to understand. So
Yes. Like
like we're all like 18. The people are like, what the fuck are you
it's
talking
shit.
about?
It's shit that gets taken for granted once you've been here 5 years. But as a new person, it's like
it's so hard. It's
yeah, it
so
is.
hard.
It just is.
And
It's hard as fuck.
that's why we do this. I mean, we provide information. So, just anybody who's watching this at home, like all three of us are willing to help. Please reach out to us. Like, please do yourself. Well, okay, Dan doesn't like you, but Dan's going to give you some great music. So go and hit him up for the little baby
Yeah,
with the,
he'll pump his music, his little
Yeah.
music thing. So
One
yeah,
last
hit him up for the
I
naked baby that never mind. I mean,
yeah.
that's what he
I'm
can give
sorry
you.
for showing, that. But no, I did want to say, to one point that Dylan you mentioned about people coming in and, when people make a bad purchase and someone sells them something too high, we just lost someone of the community for forever almost. Like the thing
Hopefully
is when
not, but yeah,
people, but like that's the thing is like it's good to like educate people, make them make smart purchases where you don't have to like get top dollar. You could give them 20-30% off if you're trying to get rid of something. Don't take advantage of people. Be good to them, and they're gonna repay it 10 times over. They're
yeah,
gonna come back and help you out in time. So it's not you don't do it for those reasons, but some of my best friends are collectors, and it's that journey we take together that means everything.
yeah. I agree. Well said. So, I know a lot of people are dropping off. Let's wrap it up. But I would
Yeah,
love
we
to have you
said
guys back.
goodbye, I think 3 or 4 times there. So people like
Well,
leave and
we
then
we
see we're
lost we
still.
lost like 5 people in the last like 2 minutes. So I think people really want to wrap it up, and I don't want to keep people who watch this home. I want to just have you guys back. Let's just do this
I
again,
say we stay till there's one person left. It'll be Kaplan. I'm just kidding.
dude. We'll be up. We'll be out now. Kaplan's going back. Kaplan said he's going to bed. We're gonna be up all night,
I
man.
call bullshit. Sorry.
Yeah, I call bullshit too.
No,
But no,
we'll
thank
do
you,
it.
thank you guys for joining. This has been honestly a great birthday surprise. I'm happy you guys came here. I like awesome discussion. I hope people watch this back and enjoy it. You really can hit up any three of us for information on collecting. We're all here to welcome you and help you. So, and other people on the stream too. So, like. Be careful. Be careful, but go and get the information before you go get out there. So I mean, that's what we're here for. And even if you're not buying something from me, Dylan or Dan, I guarantee you we'll help you, give you good advice.
Yeah.
So thank you guys
Happy
for
birthday
watching.
again.
Yes.
Thank you for
One last happy
the
birthday to
birthday
you, man.
wishes.
Hope you have
Thank
a
you for
great day.
coming.
Good seeing you, Dylan.
You guys are the best. Let's do this. I'm on vacation next week. Let's do it again in 2 weeks.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
Bye, guys.